Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Burnet County Commissioners Court meeting. I'm Brian Wilson, Burnet County Judge. Now call this Burnet County Commissioners Court meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025, and the time is now 9 o'clock. I first call agenda item number 2, the invocation and pledges. I call Joshua Peterson to the lectern, please, and to ask God's blessing on this meeting and our county. Rise with me, please.
All right, let's pray. Eternal God and ever wise Father, we thank you for today, another day that you've created. God, I thank you for your favor and your protection and your direction, your continued favor and protection and direction of Burnet County and the state of Texas. God, we pray that our conversations this morning and our potential decisions this morning and the next week, God, be honoring to you and be in the way you see things. God, we thank you for the leadership in this room. We pray for protection over them, God, and direction. And we pray that we honor you today. We thank you for loving us and being near to us. God, we love you and we need you. We can't live without you, God. Amen.
Would you please join us in the pledges of the American and Texas flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Okay, I call agenda item number 3, recognition of Michelle Devaney with the Vanishing Texas River Cruise for efforts in protecting the American bald eagle. Thank you, Ms. Devaney, for coming with us. Well, we have a certificate to recognize your work for the educational and conservation efforts regarding many endangered birds and wildlife in the Texas Hill Country, and specifically your protection of the American bald eagle. We thank you for that very much. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Thank you to Burnet and Burnet County for all y'all have done throughout the years, because we couldn't have done what we did on Vanishing Texas River Cruise to protect the American bald eagle without the support of our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very enjoyable tour I got to take this fall. So
fantastic.
You want to join us up here and we'll take a quick picture. You have a plaque with you. You want to tell us about that?
So this plaque I'm bringing because I think that these two tie together was given to us 2 Saturdays ago by the Daughters of the Republic for the conservation of the eagle and the conservation of our lands.
Let me open that door for you. We'll gather up right here in the middle. Thank you so much.
Y'all look here for a second. 1, 2, 3.
Got it. Thank you so much. Press the button. First time I thought we like to pile that good stuff at the front end of the meeting. So. And today I'm going to go ahead and use the judge's prerogative to call an agenda item out of order, and I call agenda item number 31, discuss, consider, and take action regarding the following: Burnet County's response to the Bell County East to Big Hill 765 kilovolt transmission project by LCRA and Encore, determining whether Burnet County Commissioners Court should declare this issue as an unforeseen grave necessity or emergency related to the proposed transmission lines, hiring attorneys or other professionals to represent Burnet County before the PUC and other regulatory agencies concerning the proposed transmission line. Said attorneys and other professional fees should not exceed $100,000, and paying attorneys or the other professional fees from the existing 2025 fund balance. Now, according to my meeting with the LCRA Community Service Representative Hondo Powell on May 23rd, 2025, Burnet County had been notified of a new proposed power line back on January 22nd, 2025. This was during the time when the county judge had resigned and the commissioners were sharing the duties of the county judge. According to Mr. Powell, as of May 23rd, the Public Utility Commission, or PUC, had not approved whether a 345 kilovolt line or a 765 kilovolt line would be built. He did explain that if a 765 kilovolt line was built, it would be significantly larger than anything ever constructed in the state of Texas. A few days later, the public and I, as well as myself, were informed by a mailing that went out that the 765 line had been approved by the Public Utility Commission. Commissioner Byerly and I called the Encore representative. LCRA explained that Encore was doing this stretch of the line. They split the project between them, LCRA taking the western half. We asked several questions, but he said, well, I really need to get the planners and engineers on the line. Why don't we set up a time? And so we called back. And so when we got on the line, we met with Mr. Stryker again, but there were 3 attorneys on the line as well. And basically, they described to us the public meetings that were going to be held where all the resources would be there to answer questions about the planning and design and features of what all the different routes. I went to the meeting like many of y'all, but I believe on a late post-holiday Friday, I may not have posted this agenda item except for 31A. So what I'm going to ask for right today is for public comment to help us shape what we should do in the future, because there are some statutory guidelines that we need to follow and be really careful if we do any activity. But we do need public guideline to develop a response by Burnet County. And so with that, I would like to open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment on this issue? Yes, sir. You can come to the podium, come to the lectern and state your name.
My name is Michael Smith and my wife, Robbie. We're here to express concern over the 765 kilovolt lines. My family's been in Burnet County for 3 generations. I, like you, are aware of the legislature that was passed that said ERCOT needs to go figure out a way to upgrade the grid. And ERCOT went and found a way to upgrade the grid. Part of that, from what I understand, was a proposal to do the 365 kilovolt lines, and another option was to do the 765 kilovolt lines. When I hear that as a public person, of upgrade the grid, I think, okay, well, it's going to be what's around here now, and okay, that if we need more of that, we can have more of that, and so I didn't get too concerned about it at that point. But then after we were notified by a neighbor that it was a proposed 765 kilovolt line, I started doing some research. I got involved and started looking at why. And that's where I came from, the fact that the Public Utility Commission has approved the 765 option, and that this was done in April or May. And so I don't know if there's much we can do about that at this point, but any help that can be given to the landowners in Burnet County, we would greatly appreciate it. So at that point, I started asking, well, what are they building? I looked at the 765 and realized there hasn't been any, from what I can tell, there hasn't been any 765 kilovolt lines built in the state of Texas. There hasn't been any built in Europe, from what I understand. They don't allow it. So it kind of got my interest, started digging into what a 765 kilovolt line looks like and the implications. And it's going to have grave implications to the landowners in Burnet County, the health, the ecology, the environment, property values. And I got very concerned about that. Started looking at, well, why are they routed through Burnet County? And what are the guidelines of where to put a 765 kilovolt line? And I found that the Public Utility Commission has guidelines. Those guidelines say that they should follow existing transmission routes, preferably. They should follow roadways and other cultural lines that have already divided property. Yes, sir?
I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you at the beginning, the comments are 3 minutes. If you could wrap up within
Sure.
another minute. I'm
That'd be
sorry, I
great.
didn't say that up front.
That's
I
all right.
apologize.
That the lines, that they should follow those things, they should look at historical values. I looked at what was proposed going into Lampasas, and I didn't see that. I went to Lampasas, asked questions. Why didn't you follow the existing lines? They said it was too hard to dodge houses that were there. I asked about historical values, historical markers. The person that was there that said that they were not on there. They didn't look at those. So that kind of, I lost trust in the process. I lost trust that they were taking care of the citizens of Burnet County, and they've looked at that and they've done an economic impact study. And so I sent my concerns. The only way we have right now is to email them with the questionnaire. And I sent my concerns to them. I've expressed my concerns everywhere. And I'm concerned that they asked the public to look at something that they didn't do due diligence on. That was very conceptual, and so I would ask that if there's anything y'all can do to either stop the lines, I don't know if that's, or at least interact with them on making them follow the existing routes that they haven't followed. There's 3 routes that go through undeveloped land, and there's 2 routes that are existing that they didn't even propose. So anyway, anything y'all can do, we would appreciate it.
All right, I appreciate it, Mr. Senior. Okay. All right, next.
My name is Judy Buford, and I live on the Russell Gabriel, and this line will be bisecting my property in half from west to east. They told me that there would be no fences, which means I would be able to walk under the line, but I don't know if that's true. And in any case, my one thought, of course, I wrote down on the paper, I went to the meeting and I wrote down all my complaints on the paper, personal complaints about my property and how it's my nest egg, and I'm a heart patient, I don't want to live under these lines. Every road I would take to leave my house to go to any town, Georgetown, Lampasas, Burnet, Bertram, I would have to pass under them. Plus, I'm going to live not close enough to make a protest, but close enough not to be able to enjoy my property. So I don't want that. But one thing I did not write down is the way they propose that line, it's going to be up on the bluff on my property. And there's a lot of erosion on that bluff, and I'm sure they're probably going to move the line back, so that won't be an issue. Still, the property, the land that they're thinking about putting that line on the Russell Gabriel is super hilly, and I'm not sure they understand that. I'm not sure they've actually walked that land to know. And so if you're looking for a point, and I know it's weak, I know it's not the highest thing, for sure they're not going to care that I'm a heart patient, that this is my nest egg, that I'm going to lose everything. But they might care if they think it's going to cost more. And frankly, there are 55 people just on the G4 line, because I made a database and I'm going to send out a letter and I'm going to get people on an email group. There are 54 people like me whose the line is going to cross their property in the middle, not including all the people that got letters because they're on the outside of the line. You see what I'm saying? Now, I didn't have time I did this database, I asked one of my neighbors to help, but I didn't have time to do everybody on the G4 line. But that's where I'm gonna start personally, because I want people to know, because there are some deadlines that people have to follow. You're either gonna be a protester or you're gonna be an intervener. And I literally have no idea where to find the deadlines for that. So I think these people are trying to make it hard for us to do any kind of personal defense of our land, obviously. But as far as taxes go and the line and how long they are, honestly, it's not fair that the landowners should suffer. It's like we're gonna pay a tax for this line because the Encore is worried about the length, when they could go around and spread that cost to a lot more people, so that the few landowners that are gonna suffer don't have to shoulder that.
Thank you.
It's not fair.
Understand. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Parker.
Charlie Parker. I feel like Burnet County is under attack from Asphalt Incorporated, sold out to CPI, with the rock crusher out here on 3509, opening up these old rail beds on people's property that now has been put aside temporarily, I guess. And now this particular thing, again, going across people's private property that they've owned and paid taxes on for a lot of times lifetimes. I ask you, as the Commissioners Court, what can you do to stop this? I'm asking a question.
This is a public comment period. You can.
Okay. Well, so having seen, while I appreciate the Commissioners Court standing against the Asphalt Incorporated rock crusher plant, there's nothing that you can do. We've seen the LCRA already approved the second portion of it. And so if there's nothing that you can do, then I strongly object to spending $100,000, that's, you're saying not to exceed, on attorneys and other professionals. I strongly object to your spending the taxpayers' money to send attorneys to sit in a room and say, we represent Burnet County. That's ridiculous. I mean, we've got plenty of attorneys on staff over here. So anyway, that's my comment.
Yes, sir.
My name is Paul Norris, and I reside in this county, and I'm clearly concerned about this. I went to the meeting in Lampasas, and I asked questions of different representatives of Encore, LCRA, HAF, and whatever that other firm was, I forget. There were 4 different groups that were doing that dog and pony show. For whatever it's worth, I'm a former pilot and navigator. I can read maps. Those maps were either created by unskilled people or intentionally vague to mislead us, okay? Other people have kind of spoken to this aspect. I don't believe everything's on the up and up, and I don't know if the Commissioner's Court determines to spend $100,000 on an attorney is a good idea or not. I don't know. However, I do know that the Encore and LCRA are not acting with full disclosure. Mr. Smith, who spoke first, has created a great document analysis of this. I assume y'all have gotten that from him. I hope you have. I can't go into all the detail. He's way smarter than I am, but he makes very clear points in there, mostly that there's a lot of existing right-of-way that they're not even considering. And that's, in my opinion, that's one of the most important aspects that should be pursued. Why are they not following existing right-of-way that would make it very different? And anyway, I ask y'all to do whatever you determine is in the best interest of the citizens of Burnet County. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Oh. Just hold 1 minute.
She can go first.
Okay. That's fine, thank you.
I'm Pam Richter. I live in Bertram. I live on an existing right-of-way. It's 20 feet easement, and there's a 65 line coming through. So it kind of makes me anxious when people are like, well, just use the existing right-of-way. Well, I mean, be careful, please. Don't inflict pain and misery away from you to put it on someone else. I appreciate you protecting all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Claire Nybrook, Burnet County voter, taxpayer, interested person. I would ask that if any of the commissioners or the judge have property in that affected area, that you let us know that, you declare that on the record, and you refrain from voting for using our taxpayer money. And I would also like to know, if you do decide to use our taxpayer money to hire an attorney, what do you expect? I'd like to hear some deliberation from all of you on what you expect that to produce. What would an attorney be doing? We need to hear you justify on the record how that money would be spent. But again, I would ask if any of you have that conflict that you would recuse yourself from voting. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Ellen. I live at the end of 253.
We're trying to record this, I'm sorry.
My name's
Thank you.
Ellen. I live at the end of County Road 253. I own both sides of the Russell Fork. My house is closer than it should be to a power line, and it's not even noted on the map where my house is. I need y'all's help because I feel like we live in a tourist area, and my part of the Russell Fork has a spring in it that did not go dry in the 100-year drought. The previous drought, I believe it was in the 50s, the locals say there's dinosaur tracks in that riverbed. It seems like the worst spot you could put something like that. I would rather give my land to Burnet County for a park than see what they are talking about doing. And about the money to hire an attorney, I wish you'd hire the best attorney in the state and make this more publicly known. I feel like they kind of pulled the hokey pokey when you get an envelope on Wednesday to go to a meeting an hour away in Lampasas, and it was a dog, it was poorly run in my opinion. I'm not a public speaker, but if y'all could make our area special enough that the state can't come in with rock quarries, power lines. We are a jewel of the state, and we need to protect it. And we all pay, I think I need to speak for my neighbor, Higginbottom. He's had 400 acres north of me. His obituary in January states his life work was making that a gorgeous ranch, and it is. He's won awards from y'all, and it's going to go right through his property 4 months after he's dead. That don't seem right. That's Higginbottom's. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Come on up.
My name is Charlotte Barton Scarborough, and I live on County Road 200. My family is part of the Family Heritage Program here in Burnet County. Me, 2 of my sisters, 2 first cousins, and a first cousin across the road. Well, my sisters and I are part of that family heritage. The rest of them aren't. But we've all come home to live our last years on the family farm. We're the 4th generation to be out there. I have a Scotch-Irish temper, so I'm going to hang on, I think, because this just makes me so stinking mad I can't see straight. I haven't gotten my notes all together because my blood pressure goes sky high when I get to thinking about it. But Michael has done an eloquent job on all the things that he's put together. And from where his house is and where they're wanting to put a big, to come across, we still call it the creek, it's the Middle Gabriel, but to come across, it's going to catch part of me. But my biggest concern from that is one of my other first cousins across the road has the gas line coming straight through, and what the heck is it going to do to that gas line? I mean, that's not something you can fool around with at all. Have they cleared anything through those companies that own the gas lines? And are they going to compensate us for the loss of value on our land. I mean, somebody help us. Name him help us. He know, bless his heart. He's a sweetheart. But it's, if you want somebody to fight, he knows, I'll get right in there with a pair of boxing gloves. This is beyond, for LCRA to go ahead and approve that. If I was Camp Longhorn, I'd sue the absolute pants off of every one of them. I don't know, how can we fight it? We've got to stay on top of it. We can't let deadlines slip by anymore. This is not productive to the citizens of Burnet County. We've got to start fighting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this issue? Yes, sir?
My name is Scott Gracie, and I want to reiterate how there is a lack of detail or really trying to help us understand what was going on with a postcard that a lot of my neighbors looked at and couldn't really tell that it was affecting them. You kind of looked at it and couldn't see, and going to the meetings, and it doesn't really tell you how soon you have to have the questionnaire in, or how soon you have to get these certain dates in to be either the protester or the intervener, what that really entails, or how it could help, or how many people you want that. And I just can't believe how lacking it has been for helping us to understand what's going on. So I do support the attorneys and the kind of helping the community figure out how to better understand this.
Okay,
And
thank
that's
you.
it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Austin Rose. My wife and I have a ranch in northeast Burnet County that's been in our family for 140 years. We've spent the greater part of our working careers trying to save and improve this property. Our property is on the middle proposed line. The lines don't come directly over our house in the headquarters, but they come really close. I applaud the county for recognizing these problems, or this problem for the citizens of this county. We've been trying to contact attorneys for the past week that have experience in fighting these issues. They're hard to find, the people that specialize in this sort of thing. And I think your $100,000 is on the low side of what it would cost to get competent, experienced attorneys that are used to testifying and fighting for people or entities in front of the PUC. So I would encourage you to do that. Lastly, I think my personal opinion is that we should focus on trying to get them to use existing right-of-ways. I don't have any verifiable information, but I have done some research, and I think that can be done. And in my opinion, that would be the wisest course to help all the citizens of Burnet County. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Nancy Thompson. Our ranch has been in the family since 1900. They proposed to put this line in that's going to be about 573 feet from the original house and also the family cemetery. So I just feel like we need to do something to try to stop. Burnet County is just evidently, they just love us for all the projects that they think that needs to go through. It's a hill country that is beautiful. People come here to see it. And I would like to get a lawyer to try to fight this. And I just hate that it's gonna come close to my property, come on my property and close to the house and cemetery. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Heidi Cope, Burnet County voter and taxpayer. Did you say earlier you're only going to do 31A? Because this was posted and you've got your 72 hours notice. Are we going to hear deliberations on B through D today?
Right now, we're just taking public comment.
Or are you going to open B?
Right now, we're just taking public comment on the entire thing. You can speak to whatever you'd like to.
Okay, so are the people that are here today giving public comments going to be able to see you all deliberate on item 31 in its entirety?
Do you have any public comment, ma'am?
That's my public
Okay,
comment.
thank you.
The people are here, they deserve to see deliberation today.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Okay. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to go ahead and close public comment for now. So, as I said a few minutes ago, this power line has caused just a tremendous amount of angst and stress for citizens. I don't know exactly what all we can do. As I said earlier, I think we've taken input to really address to help us if we want to formulate a response to these entities. So basically we got three entities. LCRA, we've got Encore, which is the group that's over this part of our project that's coming through Burnet County, or the eastern part of the half of this line. As far as we don't have a resolution ready today. This has been moving very quickly, and so I didn't have the opportunity to draft a resolution for you to consider. I think we should take a stand, but the one problem that we keep running into in Burnet County is when we have pipelines or power lines or crushers or rail lines, that most of the options pit neighbor against neighbor. About, the three proposed lines for the rail line. Now, what do we have, 6 segments in our county? I think there's four transmission lines, but 6 segments that go different ways. So, to the lady that spoke about, I've got an existing power line and it's 65. I don't want a 765 or whatever. I mean, so I don't know what we can do, but I felt like after my people were contacting me from all over the county after the terrible meeting at the Lampasas, we're so deeply affected by this issue, yet they're not holding a public meeting in Burnet County for Burnet County residents. So I wanted to get this on the agenda. I appreciate the public for input, and we've got this recorded. So that was one of the reasons I asked you to come to the mic and speak so that we can go back and look and start formulating a resolution. I know we can at least, for the train and for the rock crusher, I wasn't here for the rock crusher, but we did a resolution. In this case, what I saw in Lampasas, in the 85 or 90 degree room temperature that many of you, and standing in line for an hour and a half just to figure out where we were, on these maps that were so obscure, to your point, that there was no way to figure out, you could find Burnet County. So I don't know what our options are. If we can at least engage an attorney for just to hold the power lines and the PUC accountable to state law. I don't know. I don't want to get in this neighbor against neighbor thing, but we're probably limited. But as I also said, I think I did not write the 3 B, C, and D in accordance that we could actually take an action item today. And so I would say that we could move forward to direct the county judge and, to develop a resolution on A, but the other 3 items we probably need to do more research on and before we do anything else. So that's my thought, and I'd like to put it out to the commissioners for any other thoughts that you have.
I'd like to see us move forward on the resolution, and also maybe ask our attorneys to look into what our options are before we commit on an outside attorney.
Okay.
I agree with Commissioner Luther. We definitely need to start working on a resolution that has some teeth to it and find the right people to send it to. And then what would hiring an attorney net us and the people of Burnet County? Because the legislation passed in '23 to allow this size of line. So I'd like to go back and talk to our state reps, because they all voted for this, I believe, incredibly favorably. So what information were they given, or perhaps not given, to talk about the substantial impact that what doubling it would be, and what data they were given that this wouldn't have such a big impact? Because I can't imagine that if it was really pitched to them in the way that it looks like it's going to be, that they would have been so in favor of it. I might be wrong, but I'd like to get them on board especially. We know as a court, state law doesn't give us a lot of authority to just say, just to say no, but where can we get the data and find out that, this wasn't just, it's just amazing to me how big this thing is, and nobody until now thought to question it, I guess, is a way to say it. I don't know how else to say it, but I definitely want to find out if we did spend, because to Mr. Rose's point, like, I know they've got high-powered lawyers. When a county judge and a commissioner calls to talk about a route and they've got 3 on the line, it kind of gets your attention. And so I just want to know what it would net us and what the best way forward is to have the best result. Obviously, I guess that goes without saying, but that is my position.
And the reason it was 31 on the agenda is because my phone and many of your phones are blowing up. I'm sure it was quiet on the south end of the county, but you might have been receiving calls as well. I'm not, but it was, wow, it was a big deal on Friday when I was trying to put the agenda together. So again, I take responsibility for not crafting there was a lot of people not available on Friday after a holiday, so I didn't get all the P's and Q's minded. So for that reason, I'm going to ask us to just set aside B. What was it?
B, C, and D.
B, C, and D. Thank you. I apologize. There it is. So, and then we don't have to take up A. I can just put it on either for a scheduled special meeting, or I can have it at the next Commissioners Court resolution, a resolution drafted about what we can do and do that. So, any other comments?
Can we, with the way this is styled today, can we instruct our counsel to do further investigations and to bring back to us options at the next Commissioners Court?
Yes, yes. And better drafted agenda items. So, sorry, guys.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir. Are you a member of the public or here's on behalf of the sheriff? Okay. I would ask if you come as a member of the public that you leave your gun and badge outside. But I know we don't have locking badges in here, but I want to be careful about that, Chief. I respect your authority, I respect your position, but this is a grave matter of public importance, and you can't play both roles. So
this was just a addition to what has already been discussed on asking the attorneys. Has there been other counties, the other counties that are involved, have they formulated a group of attorneys that are working to also resolve the same issue, and have we made contact with them in order to have multiple forces instead of just Burnet County going that direction? That was
yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to go ahead and answer. I appreciate that public comment, but I will go ahead and add that I did reach out to 4 of the other judges near us and have had conversations with them.
Can you tell us which judges those were?
I'm not doing deliberations with the public right now. This is official meeting. Thank you. So anything else, Commissioners?
No, I think, like Commissioner Dockery said, if council can help us start to formulate what can be done and what can't be done, and maybe get the legislature can give us a legal review of the statute, right? And what it entails and what powers we may or may not have. Is that correct? We can request that?
Yes. Is that right, Randy? We can request that further research and help formulate a better. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I don't really need to vote if we can pass on that. Members of the public, I really appreciate your time coming today. I'm not going to, I just feel like we should, this is a matter of such grave importance that that we need to be really careful about what our next steps are, taking into consideration that we just want to be really careful that whatever our next steps are do not end us in the kind of trouble that we don't want when we're trying to solve problems and who we are as a community, right? I mean, it's like if we're just always going to be the pipeline and the transmission line capital of the world, or we're going to try to have some semblance of the precious things that drew us to the hill country to begin with. And I mean, those are choices we have to make. So I'm gonna set aside, but your comments are noted. They're recorded. I appreciate your time in coming today, but I think it's just such a critical issue that we need to take our time and do it right. So thank you very much.
So we've got this for the next agenda.
Yeah, we will get with legal counsel and either schedule a special meeting or a next Commissioners Court meeting.
Good.
So I think it might just require a special meeting. So, all right. Thank you very much. Now I move to agenda item number 4, general public comments for issues that are not on the agenda. Is there any public comment? I'm sorry.
And that's number 5.
4 is your report.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I skipped number 4. I'll do that at the end.
So are you on general public comments?
Yes,
or not?
ma'am.
Okay. Patty Cope again. I have a general public comment about the survey that was posted on the Commissioners Court website without any public notice. Did you all, commissioners, agree on that survey? Because the way that I look at it is this is just my opinion, but by one member of this court posting a discretionary survey, I think that maybe he usurped your authority as a body to format and formulate the questions of the survey. The survey is very biased. It's designed, when you analyze it, it was designed to steer respondents towards supporting the conversion of the upstairs facility into a permanent commissioner's courtroom and county judge courtroom, but without providing critical context. It has leading questions such as assumptions of population growth necessitating expanded court facilities, and the highlighting of only, this was the branding of it, marketing of it, only 3 courtrooms for 4 judges, which implies an urgent problem without providing any statistics or evidence. Office of Court Administration has data on case backlogs, and so the survey didn't include anything other than the questions were framed to favor approval and excluded financial or strategic trade-offs and manipulated public perception. And I believe it exceeded the county judge's ministerial authority and got into discretionary authority. Thank you.
Charlie Parker again. I've asked this question on public record once before, and I will ask members of the court and the taxpayers of Burnet County the following question again. Does anyone see any evidence of even the smallest attempt by the members of this court to pay off the Burnet County debt or reduce the debt burden on the taxpayers of Burnet County. Burnet County is over $30 million in debt. In fiscal year 2024, Burnet County spent $9.6 million more than the county took in. This is $2.7 million higher than in fiscal year 2023. The trend is going in the wrong direction. In September 2024, the court voted to borrow an additional $5 million on a short-term bond. I object to the fact that this court has so irresponsibly borrowed and frivolously spent the taxpayers' hard-earned money over the last several years. All of this documented information shows a clear lack of concern and lack of fiscal responsibility in how the court handles money that is not their money. This court is proposing hiring attorneys or other professionals to represent Burnet County before the PUC concerning proposed electrical transmission line, attorneys or other professional fees not to exceed $100,000. At the same time, considering spending the taxpayers' money on retrofitting the courthouse annex at 127 East Jackson Street for use as the permanent commissioners' court meeting place, agenda item 29. The 5 individuals on this court have proven that they are incapable of behaving as fiscally responsible adults and cannot be trusted. And I'd appreciate it if you'd look at me, Mr. Dockery, when I'm talking to you, be trusted with the taxpayers' money.
Any other public comment? Okay. I call agenda item number 6. Set the place, date, and time for the public hearing regarding petition consideration requesting the formation of the Burnet County Emergency Service District Number 10. Said public hearing will be held at the regular session of the Burnet County Commissioners Court meeting on July 22nd, 2025, 9 a.m., Burnet County Courthouse, Burnet, Texas. Commissioners, there is an existing emergency service district, or ESD, in the northeast portion of the Burnet County for fire protection services. The ESD has gathered signatures on a petition as required by law to have an overlay ambulance ESD covering the exact same area. Those signatures were validated by the elections administrator, and I accept the petition calling for an election.
Vicenta Stafford, Burnet County Clerk. Once the signatures were validated, it was filed in the county clerk's office as per statute. We have figured up the dates for the proposed petition hearing, which we submitted to be Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, if y'all approve that date. At that time, y'all will hear the petition and make a ruling on if you're going to approve the petition to be put on the November election. So this date will allow action to happen in the time frame needed to call for the election in November. So
Thank you, Ms. Stafford.
the documents are available in my office if anyone wants to see them.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have the president of the ESD. Is there anything you want to say at this time?
Of the existing ESD?
Of the existing ESD that's calling for the petition. I'm sorry.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak this morning, and thank you for hearing this item. Northeast Burnet County covers about 202 square miles, has over 2,300 people, and is growing really, really fast. We have no ambulance in this area. When one of us has an emergency and needs an ambulance, our fire department is there between 5 and 7 minutes, but it's over 20 minutes, best case scenario, for an ambulance to respond. Now, the ambulance that does respond provides incredible care. I've been in emergency medicine for almost 40 years. I know that's hard to believe as young as I look. But Chief Ingram is the chief over Burnet EMS, and the protocols that they use, the care that they provide is second to none. The issue that we're addressing is there's just no ambulance in our community, and the response time to serious incidents like heart attacks, critical trauma, is really non-survivable. This is the business I've been in all my life, and putting an ambulance in the community is something that we want as a community, something that we're going to pay for as a community. We're not asking the Commissioners Court for money, just your support. and something that'll really make a big difference in our community today and as it grows. We want to buy into the existing system, not create something on our own. So the secondary impact of this is the ambulance in Bertram, which, by the way, is the closest ambulance to us. And the secondary ambulance here in Burnet would remain in this area serving this part of the community. It would also slow down the rate that the Commissioners Court would have to contribute money to subsidize that system. So I think that everybody wins in this scenario. The people that will be directly benefiting from the service that sign this petition. It puts it in the community's hands to vote on. And we really, really feel like it will make a difference for our community. Again, thank you for hearing this item, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Lemon. All right, is there any public comment on this issue? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. And you actually have a role in this on the election side, too, so thank you.
Good morning, Alan Trevino again. Just things to consider moving forward. While I'm very much in favor of having this, it does potentially create an expense for the sheriff's office with our communication service. We 2 years ago started the Pro Q&A program, which involves law enforcement and EMS fire when Burnet PD moved to Marble Falls, along with the EMS, we still dispatch fire. Will this include, this potentially will cause expense? We stopped the Pro QA for fire EMS. We continued it we're about to finish the phase with all police officers, Pro QA. But this will then require us to then also move the fire EMS forward again, which all we did was delay it, just making you aware that there could be potential increase in dispatch expense for that program.
Is that staff and technology?
Just technology.
Okay, all right.
And I'm sure the associated certificates that continue to, that you have to annually maintain for maintenance of the program.
Okay. Chief, do you have anything? I'm sorry. That's okay.
And then will they be utilizing Hamilton EMS as many of the other locations are for their EMS?
Okay. So, and either I was trying to say Chief Freitag or Mr. Lamont. You can go ahead and come. Either one of you can speak to that. That's fine. So.
Yeah, I'll speak with the Sheriff's Department, and so will the Fire Chief, but I'm unclear on how this would change anything. We're not getting in the EMS business. We're simply going to fund an ambulance with Burnet County Fire that would be located in our area. It would be no different than the Bertram ambulance responding to our area. So I'm not clear on what that expense was, but certainly if we created an expense in this process, that would be something that the new ESD, I would assume, would consider and address. Thank you.
Okay. You want to go ahead and come forward, Chief Ingram? Thank you for being here. So.
Chief Ingram with Burnet Fire Department.
And if you don't mind, just to make sure that everybody's clear, commissioners, that so we already have a contract with Burnet to provide to Bertram in the northern part of the county. The ESD would then provide additional funds to not create a new ambulance service, but simply to add an existing ambulance and station in the far northeast corner of the county. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's what we're looking at. Yes.
Go ahead. Thank you.
As far as the dispatching side of this goes, we did move over to Marble Falls, but all that would have to happen is when a call comes in the county, the Sheriff's Department just needs to bump the call to Marble Falls, and they'll handle all of the medical dispatching side of that.
And that's the way it is currently with EMS in Burnet and
Yes, sir.
Bertram.
Yes, sir.
Bertram. So,
Yes, sir.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, good. All right. So, is there any more public comment on this issue? All right. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we move forward with the approval of these three agenda items. I'm sorry.
And item 6.
I'm sorry, excuse me, item 6. Is there any further discussion among the Commissioners Court? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 7, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the acceptance of a donation from the Friends of the Herman Brown Free Library in the amount of $10,000 to be used solely for the Herman Brown Free Library. Florence, do you want to say something about this? You're welcome to.
Good morning. Florence Reeves, Director of the Herman Brown Free Library. And I just want to express our continued gratitude to the Friends of the Herman Brown Free Library for all their hard work and dedication to help us continue with our programming, purchase of materials, e-services, and all the wonderful things that we try to do as we serve our community. So we greatly appreciate them.
Thank you. All right, is there any public comment on this issue? Okay. Seeing none, do I hear a motion to accept?
I'll move to accept the donation.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. And is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, motion passes.
Judge, if you don't have anybody else that's pressing, if we could go to 12, we have a representative here.
Okay. All right, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding approval of the Burnet County Precinct 4 crew members to construct and install a sign bracket for the Fox? How do you say that? Fox House? Plaque at the Falls on the Colorado Museum. The Falls on the Colorado Museum is a registered 501c3 nonprofit and will furnish all materials for the bracket construction and installation. This action will further preserve the history of Burnet County, therefore serving the public purpose. Commissioner Dockery. Oh, I'm sorry. Item number 12. Thought I said that.
Good. Ms. Ostermeyer's here with the Falls on the Colorado Museum. We had outreach from Ms. Ostermeyer asking us that you all are probably aware that the Fox House that existed in Burnet County within Horseshoe Bay burnt to the ground 2 years ago. And this plaque was a dedication to that house, and they want to preserve it for future folks. So they found a place on the property of the museum to place it, and they want to, it's going to be, the museum is surrounded by a school, and so there's going to be kids in that area. They would like for it to be constructed and mounted in a secure situation so that the kids can't knock it down or, incidentally. And so we can provide the manpower to do that if this court gives us the authority to do so. Do you have anything you would like to add, ma'am?
No, we appreciate the support.
Okay, thank you. All right, I call for public comment on the issue. Okay. Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I'd move for approval.
Okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this item. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none with the commissioners. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Ostermeyer. Okay, I call agenda item number 8. Discuss and consider and take appropriate action regarding the following: finding and authorizing the purchase of diabetic medical supplies and equipment necessary, cost-effective for the Indigent Health Department, approving Burnet County to provide intent to the Texas Health and Human Services Commission that Burnet County will be providing the diabetic supplies and equipment within 30 days, and approving the Indigent Health Department to purchase and provide diabetic medical supplies and equipment for eligible indigent health care participants. Hi, Carol. Do you want to,
My name is Carol Ellis, and I'm the administrator for the Burnet County Indigent Healthcare Department. For many years, we have supported the reimbursement of prescriptions for diabetic medications, but we have never been able to supply those, the equipment that they need to sometimes administer the medications they need. I think it's real important that we be able to provide these people with those things like lancets, strips, glucometers, syringes, any of that type of equipment that helps them to administer the medications that we already provide. I would like to explain better the wording for this approval, that we are not actually purchasing the equipment. We are only making payments that are associated with the supplies that will be provided by HEB. So we do not actually purchase them ourselves, only reimburse the expenses.
okay. So to qualify, these people have to, they have to qualify first with your office, and then once they qualify, then they would be able to go to HEB and pull down the supplies that they need.
That's correct. We currently supply 3 prescriptions per month.
Okay.
So this would be over and above those 3 prescriptions that we already provide for our clients.
Okay. All right.
And we do have to notify the state that this is an optional. A lot of the things that we provide are mandated by the state that we cover. This is not one of the mandated coverages. So we have to notify the state that we are now going to cover those supplies so that they will have record of that.
Okay, thank you.
What is the anticipated fiscal note on this?
It is not expensive. Those items that we're requesting are not expensive. They're actually very nominal. I have not put the numbers to it exactly. I have currently 19 active client files, and probably of that, I have 7, 8 of them are diabetic. So it's not like we're providing that to a large number of our clients, just those that are currently considered or have been diagnosed with diabetes.
On that, I know you don't have the number, but is there a budgeted amount of money we have?
It's budgeted within the prescription. It kind of falls under our drug budget.
So we do have funds available?
Sorry, say again?
So we do have funds available
Yes, yes.
that are not being spent out of the prescription?
No, this is not over and above any expense. It's just what that expense covers.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Well, I'll go ahead and take it for public comment. Just stay by in case we need additional questions. All right, is there any public comment on this issue? Okay. All right. Seeing no public comment, do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Okay.
I'll second. Did you second?
You got it.
Okay.
Judge, you might want to amend the motion. We're not purchasing the equipment, as you said. I think we're funding the ability to use the equipment that's provided by HEB.
Are you talking about on number C? Funding and authorizing the purchase. So we are authorizing the. Okay.
It's a reimbursement, right?
No, it's the person who qualifies would go and purchase the items, and then we would reimburse. Is that what you're saying?
No, we don't reimburse the people that.
I'm sorry, I meant we would pay the HEB for the supplies that were drawn. So.
No cost at all to the client.
Did this language come from the Health and Human Services Commission? Or did we draft this? Okay.
I think we're okay. She said we're not purchasing the equipment. We're actually funding.
Okay. All right.
Is that friendly to your motion?
Okay, so, based on council, thank you, Mr. Levitt. So, we're gonna, so I think the first one is that we're gonna make a finding, and authorizing that, and maybe I'll just add the word people may purchase, diabetic medical supplies and equipment necessary for cost-effective indigent, for the indigent health department. We're approving Burnet County to provide intent to the Texas Health and Human Services Commission that Burnet County will be providing diabetic supplies and equipment within 30 days, and approving the indigent health department to fund the provision of diabetic medical supplies and equipment for eligible indigent healthcare participants. Does that make sense? Okay. Council? She said yes, that makes more sense. Okay. All right. And,
So we're changing it from purchase to fund.
right. To fund and provide diabetic medical supplies. Okay. All right. Any questions? Everything okay? All right. I'm going to go ahead and open up for public comment. Is any public comment now that we've changed, modified the motion? Okay. Yes, sir.
What are you defining as indigent?
Okay. Can you come to the? I'll go ahead and let you get on the record.
What is the county's definition of indigent, please?
State your name.
Charlie Parker.
Again, these are recorded. So the indigent healthcare system is required by statute, and it defines indigent. It's extremely low poverty, usually 20%, 21% of the federal poverty line of Burnet County. So it's very, very a minuscule amount of money for people to make to qualify for this program.
Okay.
Qualifications are set down, mandated by the state.
Come on up, Carol. Yeah, it's mandated by the state, so.
Qualifications for indigent health care are mandated by the state of Texas by, in the Health and Safety Code, Chapter 61. And we have to follow the rules set by the state. We don't set any of the rules for qualification. We just monitor and interview the people to be able to see whether or not they're determined to be eligible under the state rules.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to get, that doesn't include illegal immigrants. That was my point. Thank you.
All right, so given the modifications to the motions I stated into the record, that we're going to fund and provide diabetic medical supplies, it's been moved, your motion is still sound, your second is still sound?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 9, discuss and consider and take appropriate action regarding the contract with Levy Dykema Architecture Services, which should not exceed $30,000 to include the following: perform a building evaluation and redesign of the elections department at the old school located next to 607 North Vanderveer Street in Burnet, Texas, 78611, and perform an evaluation of the North Annex building, the flow, the courtroom sound design, the HIVAC system, and the overall refresh of the 2 district courtrooms and other buildings issues located at 1701 Polk Street, Burnet County, 78611. The elections department is in a building that does not match the needs of Burnet County. The county owns buildings that could meet that need. I'd like to hire a professional architect to examine the potential for the conversion of the existing building that we own and consider its functionality for the elections department use. Additionally, our 2 district courts in the North Annex, they're over 25 years old, are audio and visually debilitating to the quality of justice in Burnet County. The witnesses can often not be heard. The air handling equipment is extremely loud, and the walls and furniture have significant wear issues. The courts and the attorneys are placed in situations to continually compensate for the sound, space, and systems when their focus should be as judges and professionals administering justice. This Levy Dykema has done a really good job helping us manage the project across the street. They were found originally on this 127 Jackson project as through a competitive bid process, and they have the capacity and I think the skills to do this additional work. So, is there any public comment? Okay. Seeing no public comment, do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 10. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding approving the Road and Bridge Precinct 3 to enter private property at 1108 County Road 342C, Marble Falls, Texas 78654, and remove a tree that has the potential to fall and block County Road 242C. The property owner, Teresa Adcox, has given permission for entry into the property and removal of said tree. Commissioner Collier.
This is just a tree that during these past storms was split, and it's gonna, with the next good wind gust, it's gonna fall over and block the road, so we can take care of it, do a little PO, get that done.
All right.
And she's given us permission.
Move for approval.
Second.
Is there any public comment? Okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this agenda item, and is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 11, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the lease of a new postage machine for the main courthouse located at 220 South Pierce Street, Burnet, Texas. The county mail machine is up for a 2-year renewal. We had 2 different companies interested in the contract. Staff recommends staying with the Pitney Bowes supplier because they have provided good customer service and their machines can print both red and black ink. So, is there any public comment on this issue? Do you want to say any? Joe, you don't have to, but okay. Okay.
The only thing is we are now moving from 2-year contract to 5.
Okay. All right.
And the price has been reduced.
Okay.
Got it, new equipment.
All right. Always like to see reduced prices. So, okay. All right, nope, any public comment? No public comment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Farley approved, Luther seconded. Is there any further discussion, commissioners? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Okay, the motion passes. Already taken care of agenda item number 12. Thank you, Commissioner Dockery. I call on agenda item number 13, discuss and consider and take appropriate action concerning a request for a replat of lots 1, 1A, 1B, 2, 3, and 4, Clear Creek Subdivision to be known as lots 1C, 1D, and 1E. Clear Creek Subdivision, a combination of 6 lots into 3. Mr. Darling.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioner, members of the public. Herb Darling, Burnet County Development Services. It's kind of a cleanup, moving some property lines around. Pretty simple replat, and it does reduce density. The Clear Creek Subdivision, for those of you that don't know, is just as you're heading west on 29, just past Park Road 4 on the left.
I've reviewed it. Move for approval.
Okay.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Oh, is there any public comment? All right, it's It's been moved and seconded that we approve this item. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 14, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding a request for replat of lots 11, 12, 13, and 14, the Emeralds, Block 1, to be known as Lot 11A, the Emeralds, Block 1, a combination of 4 lots into one. Mr. Darling.
Combination of 4 into 1, common owner, consolidating lots. It reduces density.
Move for approval.
All right, it's been moved and seconded for approval of this item. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I will, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 14. I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry, forgot to make my check. Call for agenda item number 15, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on a request for replat of Lot 72 and the north 25-foot of Lot 73, Twin Isles Subdivision, to be known as Lot 72A, Twin Isles Subdivision, a combination of 2 lots into one. Mr. Darling.
Judge, Commissioners, this Twin Isles is an older subdivision. A lot of these older subdivisions along the lakes, back in the 60s, 70s, some of the lots were sold by meets and bounds. They should have gone through a replat process. They didn't. Same owner owns Lot 72, and I believe the north half of Lot 73 wishes to combine them into one lot. It's a cleanup and a lowering of density.
Move for approval.
Second.
Any public comment? Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this item. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Okay, agenda item number 16, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on the request for a replat of lots 554, 555, and 556, South Silver Creek Village, Unit 1, to be known as Lot 554A, Silver Creek Village, Unit 1, in a combination of 3 into 1.
And it's pretty much as the agenda item states, this property is located near the public park on Lake Buchanan, and the owner wishes to combine the 3 tracts into 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, any public comment? All those, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Call agenda item number 17, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on a request for the final replat of Burnet Subdivision, a private subdivision consisting of 1 lot on 1.238 acres out of the Smith Bailey Survey number 101, abstract number 656, located at 321 Shoals Parkway. Mr. Darling.
Judge, I just want to note when you read the agenda item, you've just done 4 replats in a row. You read it as final replat. It's final plat. And if the court,
final plat.
Yes, sir. And if the court does remember, this is a snafu with LCRA. We had a preliminary plat last court. This is the final plat.
Is there any public comment? Okay.
Move for approval.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve this plat, a final plat, is there, is there any discussion? Hearing none, that all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay, I call agenda item number 18, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on a request to release subdivision improvement bond number LICX 1210 1566, and the acceptance of maintenance bond number 101528858 for Serenity Springs subdivision. Commissioner Byerly and Mr. Darling.
This is a subdivision that they're heading into their maintenance phase. Mr. Darling and I have both driven the road and checked them out. They meet our standard and are ready to go into 2 years' worth of maintenance. I move for approval.
Okay, is there any public comment? Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this item. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, that all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. I call agenda item number 19, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on the request for the preliminary plat approval for Headwater on at the San Gabriel, Phase 2, a private subdivision consisting on 26 lots on 28.56 acres out of the H.M. Babcock Survey number 1388, abstract number 1372, and the Samuel M. Bingham Survey, abstract number 86, located at the 300 block of First Down Dash. Commissioner Collier and Mr. Darling.
Judge, Commissioners, this project's been out there a while. It's 26 lots on 28-plus acres. It'll be a private subdivision. It is served by Bertram Water, and this is preliminary only.
Is there any public comment on the subdivision? Okay.
Move for approval.
All right.
Second.
And it's been moved and seconded that we approve it. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. I call agenda item number 20, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action on the request for preliminary plat approval for lot number 1, Windmere Air Park 3, plat number 3.1, being 0.29 acres out of Maria Salinas Survey number 17, abstract number 776 for the construction of an airport hangar. Mr. Darling.
Yeah, Judge, Commissioner, this is down at Windmere and Commissioner Dockery's area. This is part of the airport complex, and what they wish to do is construct a hangar on this lot for sale.
Okay, any public comment? Okay, I hear a motion.
Move for approval.
Okay. Been moved and seconded that we approve this item number 20. All those any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes.
Judge,
Call it.
I'd just like to make note, since they may be here in court, that they need to apply for their building permit through ESD 9 as well as Burnet County.
Okay, all right. Did y'all catch that? The application also has to be made through ESD 9, so for the building permit.
Correct.
Thank you, Commissioner Dodd. I call on agenda item number 21, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding Burnet County employees and elected officials process to manage expenses made without proper contract or purchase order. There have been some incidents where we have an invoice that was submitted by a vendor for payment, but no contract or purchase order was established prior to receipt of a good or service. The auditor believes that in the future, when this happens, the determination to pay the invoice should be made directly to the Commissioner's Court. This would be a policy declaration, and this process would be added to the county's purchasing manual and the employee handbook. Is there any public comment?
Patty Cope again. There have been, this situation has happened, and you're not going to answer, I know, because it's public comment. So if this situation has happened, have these invoices been ratified by the court already? And if it's against the county policy, has there been a disciplinary note put into the employee file? And what's the dollar amount of all of the taxpayer money that's been spent that the auditor is talking about? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm wondering how this particular agenda item, let me rephrase my question. How do company credit cards or county credit cards, how do they play into this particular thing? How are county credit cards managed, controlled? Who sets the limits? Who's authorized to use them? The reason I ask this question is because under the, it was the Employee Appreciation Fund, slush fund, and through PIR, I found there was many credit card purchases, some exceeding or $5,000 over a period of time. And I think that these things would somehow connect. Is this a question you can answer?
No, I'm not prepared to answer that because I don't have the records in front of me today, but I will try to look into it. I do pay attention to these questions and try to go back later and find the answers for future presentations. So.
Okay, thank you.
So sorry. Comment? Okay.
Morning, Matt Kimbler, Jail Administrator. I've read the policy that was proposed, that was put out, and I did submit a question back to it, and no response has been given to us. The only concern I have with, I understand, getting the purchase order prior to having something done, but our facility is not a Monday through Friday 8 to 5. So if I need to purchase something after hours or on a holiday, basically the reading said if I got it and y'all didn't approve it, then I would be personally responsible for whatever the financials were. And unless someone's on call with me 24/7, there's going to be times where a purchase order is not going to be not received prior to having to have someone come out on an emergency on a weekend or a holiday to fix an air conditioning that's going to cost us $15,000. You know, or I got to get a fan because we're hitting temps at 84, 85 degrees. I'm not here. I got to buy it, have them go to Home Depot, pick it up. You know, there's no one here to give me a purchase order at those hours. So that was just my concern.
So,
And this situation has come up before on a weekend and a holiday weekend where the AC went out at the jail. We did have to purchase equipment. And if we do not keep the temperature at a certain level, we have to depopulate the jail. And so there are some significant consequences of us not taking care of that responsibility. And anytime that Captain Kimbler has requested or needed something to continue to maintain the jail as required, he has always sought my approval prior to him purchasing that item. Just wanted to make sure that he was, if anybody's going to be to blame, it would be me in approving it to be purchased so that we keep the jail moving forward.
Well, the only thing I was going to say, just to, like, using that as an example, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you get a PO, or if you go make a purchase over the weekend because you can't get a PO, then normally the auditor would have called Alan and said, do you approve? And they would have issued the PO after the fact. This policy just means that now that just has to come through court before they'll issue the PO?
Well,
so that it's all on the record?
It's a little bit.
Or is that too simple?
It might be a little simple. You have a question?
Well, mine was just if you do have after hours emergencies.
Yeah.
I think all your elected, even if it goes to the chief or to the sheriff or to an elected official, at least get some sort of documentation.
Correct.
You know, that it's approved through an elected official and then it can come to court. So there's not a whole lot.
So.
And somebody that, like Mr. Kibler, doesn't get, hey, you're going to get back charged for safety work.
Yeah.
Or even the threat.
The point is not trying to get the employees to pay for county resources.
Or to be even nervous about.
Yeah, yeah.
Let them go ahead and get through it. You should be able to get a hold of your elected official.
Well, okay, and there are what's called open POs. They're not used very often, but we do have open POs. I think the sheriff's office has an open PO at Hoover's. So again, Hoover's might be closed, and you've got to go to Walmart. So I think the issue is we need to address the after hours issue separately, because that's like you take an issue like this that's trying to set a rule where we've had people go in and just buy stuff that nobody knew that they were buying, nobody had given them authorization. So trying to build the jail or the sheriff's office as an exception, I mean, in other words, trying to point to that as a rule, I don't think it's not apples and oranges, because there are extraordinary events. I think we already have policies in the purchasing manual about extraordinary events. This is talking about going and buying, I don't know, just things that are routine, but you didn't go through any process. It's trying to hold employees accountable for buying things that are maybe marginal in value. Nobody's going to question the sheriff buying, fan to keep the population cool.
This particular incident was much more significant in that the response had to come from Houston, and it was on the response actually took the purchase over $50,000, which then the repairs of that item created a whole new, and it did not meet the emergency rule.
Okay, air conditioning.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it did not meet the emergency
so
rule.
You know something about this that I probably don't even know. So fair enough. I didn't know this was about an incident. This was just about a general policy that was presented to me by the auditor.
Sure. I believe there are other incidences, obviously, that helped create that, but the one that Captain Kimbler and I are particularly talking about, which I don't believe may have been one of the reasons for this, but it literally took, we had to use a different account to pay for it because it took it over the $50,000 threshold on spending for that vendor, and that vendor is the one that had to service it. They were the only ones that could come, and they had to drive from Houston that day. I believe it was on a Friday or Saturday in order to repair the item, and there was not a workaround to find another company that could do it enough to get the temperatures back down.
Okay, so commissioners, I think I need to go back to the auditor, work around some emergency procedures and processes to kind of clarify this. So please don't call out from the audience, or I'll have to ask you to be removed if you keep yelling at them. So so I want to set this aside for right now, and let me go talk to the auditor about having clear policies and procedures in place. So is that okay, commissioners? Do you mind? We can do that by general consent. I'll just call the next item.
Judge, could we have a 10-minute recess?
Yes, I think that'd be good. Thank you. All right. The time is now 10:33. We're going to take a 10-minute recess.
We've had people ask to turn it off, or we've had people say leave it on.
I was trying to compensate for that. I was like, I thought, I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't remember like the details of what it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, oh, I better put some more money in here. And I didn't.
Okay, so to take that 75, essentially, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it. It's not, I mean, this is just, again, this is for the public. Have an opportunity, but we, I didn't publish it out.
I think we're good.
I was looking for consent. I thought she was gone, so. All right, we'll go ahead and come back to order, please. Let's be patient. We'll see how it works out. I didn't go as long as last time y'all thought I was going to. Okay, the time is now 10:43. I call the meeting back to order. I now call agenda item number 22, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the budget interdepartmental line transfers. This is a precinct 4 transfer to equipment, a maintenance transfer to supplies, and a precinct 1 transfer to fuel. Is there any public comment? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve these transfers?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion, commissioners? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. I call agenda item number 23, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action for the authorization of the payments of claims previously approved by the county auditor. Is there any public comment?
Were the Claire Nibro, sorry.
Yes,
Were the attachments to this taken out of the agenda? Because I have a previous agenda that showed the attachments, and now they're not in here. So I'm just kind of wondering if they were removed at some point.
I'm going to clarify because I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about for this item or for
Yes,
all the
yes,
items?
sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure, because I was looking at the online version. I was seeing attachments, but this is the one that has been consistently an issue for us commissioners that commission, I guess we got it in, it was the holiday and Friday, so it didn't.
So the attachments were available, but now they're not.
I don't know that they were available.
I have an agenda that I printed from my home computer and it shows clearly shows the attachment. Just wondering, thank you.
Thank you. What do you want to do, Commissioners? They're in our book. I don't know that they're in the online. It's not legally required to be on the online, but they were the payments that were made by the county auditor, and I can't explain why they're not online. So,
Was this part of it? I think it was page 8 of 18, because I had a question on that.
what did you say?
I had a question on
No,
that.
on
Was
what
on
page was
page
it on?
8 of 18,
Yes, there you go.
and that was part of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, when I made a copy of it, and you can see that I did that here, I highlighted under Fund 295, the American Rescue Plan Act, which is, has money in there for the 127 construction in the amount of $88,366. I thought that ARPA money had to be spent by the end of last year. Is that not true? Am I mistaken on that?
December of 26, I believe.
December 26th?
I believe so.
Just the end of this,
It's
next year?
It's either August or December of this
So
year.
I'm assuming that, was this money authorized for that out of the ARPA plan? It's not been spent yet, correct? And you're going to authorize that today?
It's already been budgeted?
Yes.
A year or two ago?
Right.
And we're just making a payment out of those funds.
Okay, thank you. But I wanted to make you known that the attachments were not available,
Okay, thank you.
even though they previously once were.
I'll look into that. Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. I'm going to change, use the judge's prerogative once more to change the order of things, just because I think it'll make more sense if I do it this way. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I'm going to call agenda item number 27, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the Ritz and Associates arbitrage rebate report and authorize payment of $142,551 from the tax note funds to the federal government. Please note that one document in agenda item 24 is tied to this agenda item 27. Arbitrage is the practice of taking advantage of differences in prices in two or more markets. The Burnet County's case, we sold tax notes at one rate and invested the funds in high-interest accounts. The tax notes had not been obligated or spent timely, and as a result, we must make a payment to the federal government as a penalty on the interest that we earned. Again, we're not paying funds or tax note funds, we're paying interest, part of the interest back to the federal government as required by law. We hired an accounting firm a few weeks ago to evaluate the FY20 notes, and they are currently reviewing the FY22 notes. This item is to authorize the payment. Then in agenda item number 24, we'll consider moving the funds to support this payment if approved. Is there any public comment? Okay. All right. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
And do I hear, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, call your second. Is Is there any discussion or questions, commissioners?
Can you clarify the second?
Collier? Okay, all right, Luther then, fine. I'll just make it a call.
Vicente looked up.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Okay, agenda item 24, as I stated earlier, would be linked to that. It's discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding FY25 budget transfers. This agenda item is to move funds into the correct categories to support the authorization of expenses previously made or needing to be made. First one is a transfer that we did a couple weeks ago to the levy contract, a transfer from a tax note to the interest for the arbitrage payment. Is there any public comment? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I think Collier this time. I'm calling it on Collier. Any discussion, commissioners? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes. Okay, this is, I call agenda item number 25, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding contracts, agreements, and grants to be approved or ratified. Interlocal cooperation agreement between Orange County and the Burnet County for inmate housing, intercooperation agreement between Liberty County and Burnet County for jail services. I guess they're different things, are they? No, I'm kidding, just the way we present them. Oh, they are? Okay, all right, thank you. All right. County Child Welfare Services non-financial agreement with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services beginning October 1st, 2025, and then through September 30th of 2032. Amendment number 1 for Burnet County Annex Renovation Expansion, 127 East Jackson, to pay applicants to include a signature spot for the architect to be notarized. An interlocal agreement between Burnet County and Texas Parks and Wildlife to make improvements on portions of County Road 104 and County Road 105 to better serve ingress and egress to the newly created state park to be known as Post Oak Ridge State Park. Said agreement calls for improvements such as road widening, pavement repairs, widening the surface, hot mix overlay, and safety improvements to the roadway. Improvements on County Road 104 shall be for an approximate 2 miles distance between the intersection of County Road 105 to FM 1478. Cost of the right-of-way acquisition to belong to Burnet County, but improvement expenses that are pre-approved shall be reimbursed by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Improvements to County Road 105 shall be an approximate distance of 4 miles right-of-way acquisition to County Road 105 to be performed by Burnet County and reimbursed by the Texas Parks and Wildlife. Thereafter, maintenance of County Road 105 shall be transferred to Texas Parks and Wildlife, so it shall become Park Road, and all improvements to be performed by Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. F, the Tucker Foundation newspaper digital grant for digitally preserving Herman Brown Free Library's historic microfilm, which will be made available on the portal to Texas History, and FY25-26 renewal notice to benefit confirmation from the Texas Association of Counties Health and Employee Pool. Is there any public comment? Okay.
I have a question for Commissioner Luther on the interlocal agreement with the Texas Parks and Wildlife. One of the things that they had in there noting was road widening. Is there going to be right-of-way acquisition to be purchased, or are you just talking about widening the bed of the road?
Yes.
Possibly.
Possibly, on 104.
And so the same line of questioning. So if we end up buying property or going through that process, and then they will pay us back for whatever.
That is correct.
Use county funds, and then they'll pay us back for that.
That is correct.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
So then, just out of curiosity, once this is all completed and it goes to them, you'll have to just go through an abandonment, or is that a different agreement?
Yes.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
they'll purchase it. Yeah, they'll purchase the right of way.
I got you.
We'll purchase it, and then it'll be turned over to them. So, an abandonment on the
Yeah.
4 mile.
That's-
And I also have Texas Parks and Wildlife here. Thank you for wading through, but if there's any questions for them on this project, well, they'd be probably more than happy to chime in. But we're looking forward to the 3,000-acre state park. I know.
Beautiful area of the state.
It is. Well preserved.
You should help us keep the transmission line away from it.
Go ahead, Ms. Nybro, do you have a public comment?
Yes, I do. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I have a question on G under number 25 on the health plan. At the last meeting, Commissioner Dockery asked this court, he said he would like to know what the impacts were if the county were to lose their grandfathered status on the health risk plan, and I'm wondering if you have an answer to that. If so, I hope that you will take that up and discuss that, because I'd like to know that as well. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't received any information.
Okay. I did go and research that issue, and it is true that what Ms. Tudor spoke about is the coverage of abortion and transgender services could be provided. They're not necessarily provided now, but if we lose that grandfather status, we would lose that protection. And then in addition to the higher deductibles would, the research shows that it would, the other issue that came up at last meeting was about higher deductibles, going all the way back to 1970, that shows that higher deductible plans usually result in benefits to insurance companies and reduction in health for the people who are on those plans. So starting with the RAND Corporation in 1970 and all the way through modern day research consistently shows that. So I think this is a great health benefit. It's part of the Texas Association of Counties. We're quasi-governmental agencies created by the Texas legislature to support Texas counties, especially smaller and mid-sized counties, to be able to access benefits that we couldn't otherwise access. So, any other public comment? And then I'm closing public comment. Do I hear a motion to accept all of these items?
Move for approval of agenda item 25 in its entirety.
Okay. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we approve agenda item 25 and all its details in its entirety. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion passes.
Thank you.
Call agenda item number 26, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding calling for bids and bid openings, the request for proposals, qualifications, and related openings. This is bid number bid 25-512002, Burnet County Jail Visitation Room renovations to Shellback Construction, LLC, in the amount not to exceed $511,748. Do we have anything to say on this issue? Looks like we have Mr. the architect.
Jason Ross, Burns Architecture, good morning. Daniel Sanchez with Shellback reached out and said that he had a previous engagement, couldn't get out of, that he apologized, but if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and contact him.
Okay. All right. Captain Kimball?
Yes, sir. It was just recognizing we had two bids that came in. We picked Shellback at the 511. The other bid did come in at $598,900. So.
And then under the rules, Captain Kimball, if something comes up or we discover something about within the 25%, you have enough money in the tax note to cover additional costs if we have to.
Yes, sir.
We can just come back to that at that later time.
Yes, sir.
So good job of picking something a little bit lower than what you
Yes.
what you needed, so you can do something about that. All right. Is there any public comment on this issue? Okay. All right. Seeing none, I will. Do I hear a motion? Accept this bid?
I'll move to accept the bid.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. This is related to the same issue. I am required to join the sheriff with a concurrence on that project, so discuss, consider, and take appropriate action. I call agenda item number 28, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the county judge to review and concur with the Texas Commission on Jail Standards regarding Burnet County's visitation renovation. And so jail staff and I met along with the architect and then the Commission on Jail Standards staff, and we worked through any outstanding issues. They kind of on the 11th hour, I guess it was Friday, wasn't it, Mr. Kimbler? The Jail Standards finally sent the corrected versions, and so I am ready to concur with their findings as well as the changes that the architect made and join the sheriff in that concurrence. I recommend that we take care of this today, so is there any public comment?
Patty Cope, last year, this is on the jail itself. Last year, there was a letter that came through for, I think it was an inspection that got accepted by the court, but the jail was acknowledged as getting this extremely clean letter from the jail commission. Whoever inspects the jails.
I don't think that's related to this issue.
Right, I thought it was,
This is
but
about a renovation project, so do you have anything to
Yes.
say about this agenda item?
Yes, let's just get it done.
All right. Okay.
Move for approval.
All right.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this item for me to concur with the sheriff and to the jail standards. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Okay, agenda item number 25, discuss and consider and take appropriate action regarding converting the use of the second floor of 127 East Jackson Street, Burnet, Texas, 78611 as a permanent commissioner's court meeting place and the county judge courtroom.
Did you say agenda item 25?
I said 29.
29, okay, great.
Okay.
I'll make sure.
Okay, I call agenda item number 21. 29.
Keep us guessing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep you guessing. This is to consider converting the second floor of 127 East Jackson. The Burnet County Commissioners Court is a permanent body with legislative authority, and its county judge has a full constitutional county judge authority. The county's population is growing quickly and will not have opportunities at these cost levels. The upper floor of 127 East Jackson can meet current and future needs as a commissioner's courtroom. It can serve as a permanent county judge courtroom, both jury and bench trials. It can serve as an option for local justices of the peace and specialty courts that are required to use our county facilities. The design has included an Office of Court Administration courtroom security assessment issues. The reduced traffic in the county courthouse courtroom will enhance the security standing of this courtroom, the one that we're sitting in today. And the building is being built on the second floor of 127 East Jackson, can be designed and built as the permanent county judge courtroom and the commissioner's courtroom. It can also be used, anyway. So that's my recommendation. Is there any public comment?
Yes, sir, I have public comment. My name is Claire Nybro. Can the public see the data that supports from possibly the Office of Court Administration about the statistics regarding any jury trials that were rescheduled or cases when a visiting judge was used? I mean, how many times has that happened in the last few years? We've gotten no statistical data to support what you're asking for. So I would like to see that. And I would recall from the last meeting that Commissioner Byerly asked all of you if anybody foresees the need to go to weekly court anytime in the next 3 years, and nobody responded to his question. I'd like to know that too. I mean, what is this court's intention? How often is this courtroom going to be used by Commissioner's Court? I mean, these are a lot of questions that we need to have answered, and I would actually ask for a public workshop on this. We're spending a lot of money on it, and I would like to see that happen. I would also like to know why using the AgriLife building, which the county already owns, is not being discussed as another venue for Commissioners Court. Is that possible? None of you have talked about that either. And, you know, respectfully, Judge, I'd like to remind you that you don't have a mandate from the people to be spending this much money. And we also have no resolution on money that was spent on the Baker Tilly matter from last year. And I think you were noticed at the last meeting, and I was surprised not to see it on today's agenda. So I, you know, really object to spending money in this manner when we don't have a resolution on that, because this kind of feels a lot like that does to me. So I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered about the statistics that you say you're relying on that we don't have. Let's have some discussion how we can save the county some money and possibly use the AgriLife building for Commissioners Court. That's plenty big enough for everybody. It looks to me like the plans for that new building only have space to hold 45 people. We got more than that here today. I have a lot of questions about that, and I'd really like to see a public meeting regarding that. And I especially would like to see Baker Tilly back on the agenda. We need to resolve that. Y'all need to take care of that. Thank you.
At the last meeting, part of the deliberation of the resolution that was voted upon included Judge Wilson discussing, the words came out of his mouth, a public workshop to discuss the study's best uses for this space, stating this is just to do the evaluation and architecture to see what will work. Commissioner Dockery also mentioned a workshop. Commissioner Collier asked, are they going to give us some alternatives? Here we are. Today, we've already decided, or it's being recommended, without the workshop, without the alternatives. This is discretionary. It's not ministerial. One member of your court has decided to make this a permanent commissioner's court and a permanent county judge courtroom without your consensus. Also, currently, the county judge's judicial role is negligible and consists of uncontested probate only, as you can't hear guardianships yet unless you're trained, without additional training. Mental health cases are outsourced. The county pays for those. And claiming that your court as a constitutional county judge is going to need to operate, well, the previous county judge operated for 10 years without a dedicated courtroom. The caseload doesn't justify a dedicated courtroom. Meeting twice a month or 4 times a month for Commissioners Court doesn't justify a courtroom. OCA can provide days on docket, information about county court at law, sending cases to other courtrooms. But basically the premise was that moving furniture is inconvenient and it requires a dedicated courtroom. You have taxpayers who are paying a lot of money, little grandmas and grandpas who are paying money, and you're going to take some of that money to fund a courtroom when really all that's necessary is to spend a little bit of time moving some tables around in this courtroom. Additionally, we've had no input from the 4 full-time judges. So you're talking about 4 JPs? So it was sold to us under a whole different, the motion was just completely different than what we're hearing now. So this is discretionary, not ministerial. And we're supposed to have a workshop. That's what you all voted on. Thank you.
Charlie Parker. And is this public comments where you're going to answer questions, or is this just No response, okay. That's a real problem, you know, that the people cannot have interaction with the five of you on important issues like this and have questions answered, I think is beyond the pale. It's ridiculous. But anyway, those are the rules. So I'll go back to my question is the criteria as far as the decision-making process to spend who knows how much money on building out a new courtroom. What is that criteria? That's my first question. The next question is have the five of you had any discussions about this criteria, the need for it? You know, I haven't seen any discussion. I don't think anybody else has. Also, in regards to the building itself, I don't know anything about the building, the age of it, but from what, on the blueprints on the agenda, since I don't have a blueprint, you know, scanner, I can't look at the details some of these things may be on the details, but I have a background in project management, and there are certain things like related to if this was a storage up on the second floor, there's a lot of factors involved with weight and weight, you know, actually adding to the ability for the floor to withstand the weight of, you know, people and all that kind of stuff. There's also ADA requirements as far as elevators. I didn't see that called out on the prints. The bottom line is we're talking about, well, this is some serious money at a time when, you know, there's money flowing out of the county here so fast, it's like a big fire hose has been turned on. And you guys are responsible for the control of that money, and there doesn't seem to be any control on it. So I in the most strong, adamant terms, I completely object to any further discussion of building out this courthouse. I strongly object on the record. Do not do it.
Okay, any other public comment? All right. Close public comment and go ahead and move to the, are there any, we can either go to a motion or we can have any discussion that you want to have.
Do we have any sort of budget? How much it cost?
Yeah, so currently the budget for this project is $912,000 that was issued on a contract in this Commissioner's Court before I got here. I don't know how far back. What I have been trying to, but that contract only called to develop the first floor and was going to basically spend $912,000 to rebuild an entire shell inside of that building and refurbish the entire building with no real benefit to the county other than five offices for the developmentally services, which they need the space on the first floor, we have tax notes that were spent for county buildings, or in other words, were approved over the last 5 years for county buildings. And so all I'm trying to do is take a building that is only half done. We bought the air conditioners for both floors. We're going to be running the entire building. I'm simply recommending that we take this first floor and open it to be able to, the second floor. We make some slight modifications to the first floor. We're going to do some cost savings maneuvers on both the top floor and the second floor, and then and actually make some use of a building that we're going to spend a tremendous amount of money for very little benefit other than a few added offices. So this would become a community room. It could become a courthouse. It's our permanent commissioner's courtroom. The other thing is none of our buildings are really built with the security assessment in mind. The Office of Court Administration, it's a confidential document issued by the Office of Court Administration. This courthouse would be built to those specs. So if there's a particularly dangerous trial that law enforcement is particularly concerned about, they would be able to have many of the features that would protect our judges and our juries and trials. So that's the main point here, and at the end of the day, it would come out of tax note money, or we'd authorize future. At this point, this motion is just to go ahead and set in motion the designations. We go forward. There's design options that you can either delegate, or we can have special other opportunities to review. But
well, is this going to be, I guess, for a permanent courtroom, or can at some point, or during this process, can we move it to offices?
yeah, certainly having.
How many spots, or how many places do we rent? I know, what, J.P. Nelson?
Yeah, we have the two here across the street.
You know, is there potential we can move her out,
There's a potential for that. Yes, sir.
without it being a courtroom?
Well, it might be able to do both. Again, we're just trying to design it as a county that's growing, and the potential for the need. This courtroom may not be used all the time, but it is whether me or some judge in the future needs to hold hearings on a regular basis, it's going to present a challenge being able to schedule enough days on a regular basis. But that's not necessarily the way it is today. But I don't, with the number of housetops that are coming in, both your jurisdiction and Commissioner Dockery's, it's not going to become a smaller caseload. There's no evidence of our caseload shrinking.
I'm sure.
So.
What is, I guess, have we gotten Judge Henson's?
Not in writing. It'd be a little.
Does he have to wait on us like a day like today?
He's had some reschedules, but I'm not sure that it's a massive
I guess,
issue.
how much of a burden is it for us to move or to use it? And what benefit are we going to get if we use it, unless we use it as a strictly commissioner's court?
Yeah.
The only benefit we get is not moving the tables in and around.
So on that, Commissioner, I had talked to Judge Henson originally and said, what's your thoughts on it? And he initially thought, he's like, yeah, that'll work, we can have more court. And then this morning, you probably haven't seen it yet. He does have it in writing now. He sent it to you, but I know it was like at 8:50. Okay. And so I just happened to see it, and he's changed his position, and the gist of what he wants is to sit back and look at a larger, broader justice center that would help solve public defender and all the issues throughout the county, which is a much larger project and a much more burdensome process, I guess. So that's what he said that's the gist of what I just read. And then just to continue my stuff, the people that called me about this, nobody thinks it's a good idea. And then the other thing is the survey. Do you have the results of your questions?
No, I did not. We had people with the same IP address responding extremely favorably, just dozens and dozens of times. So we just discarded
the count. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not so sure the size is something we need to look at. It's not a large area, but how long would that accommodate if that were something we were to do? And it may be able, may need to look at maybe a larger center that would accommodate all of the judges.
Probation and public defender, I know, as you all know, so. But anyway, that's the feedback I've gotten so far.
Okay.
Well, I'm all for repurposing it and let's use it.
Yeah.
Just maybe not for a courtroom. Some of the offices that we have rented, when we move those people.
Yeah, this is the dilemma with our current situation, and the answer is yes, we can. We have offices down where your office is that we can't use, and therein lies the larger problem with a lot of our older facilities. Like this room doesn't currently meet OCA security assessment issues, that we can't address all of those issues without doing major renovations. For instance, we did the locking of this courtroom causes exit issues, emergency issues for the front part of this building. So, you know, it's major considerations and renovations. This was a way to just take some pressure off of this building. But I'm good for resetting it, considering it in the future. Just whatever you want.
That doesn't put a hold on anything we're doing.
Well, what it'll do is we'll revert back to the spending of the $912,000 contract and just have a building that won't be very usable other than 5 additional offices on the ground floor. So we'll have to abandon, the design of the current model was to make it where you could have you could have additional meeting rooms. If we needed to have a countywide meeting, it holds 48 if there's a jury trial set up, but it holds over 100 when it's set up like a commissioner's courtroom. So I think the people were looking online, counting the chairs that were laid out when there's a jury trial in place. But that was one of the features that I built into the system. So I can either take a motion or take a motion to table to a future meeting.
Or to get a reevaluation, or can they come up with a plan for offices and a cost analysis of it, or estimate? Because the 912, that was just for the first floor?
That's the first floor, and then air conditioning and drying in, drying in the facility and just leaving the entire first floor undeveloped.
Second floor.
Second floor.
And we don't have an estimate to refurbish the second floor?
Other than what, not yet. I mean, some of that I was going to take cost savings that we were making choices on the first floor and then carrying those savings up to the second floor to do as much as we could. So.
Well, can the architect come back to us with that courtroom price, how much it's gonna cost?
Yes, that
And
we
then
were,
also
we were,
a redesign with some offices, or a meeting room,
yeah,
or a conference room.
sure. The design that was posted as a courtroom, the construction company is waiting to provide a cost estimate based on if we moved forward with just the simple dais and the security protocols that the Office of Court Administration required in the design of the building, or of the floor, of the second floor. So if it got approved, then they can go forward on giving us a cost estimate for what it would cost. So you could modify the motion for them to give us a cost estimate for converting to the courtroom, how much additional cost, or converting it to offices on the second floor. I could do that. So I don't know if it's properly posted, Randy, if we made a modification, or is it just?
I think it's properly posted to ask for
Additional design work and provide what it would look like for office space, so we can stop
Well,
running.
what offices are you anticipating putting there? Can't put JP1 in there. Can't do it. It's not in our precinct.
Oh, forgot about that.
JP2 would be the only one you put on there. When we did redistricting, we split this courthouse, and that's how we were able to have both of them in the same building. But the remainder of Burnet is all in precinct 2.
Please speak up. If you guys are having a discussion, let people hear your discussion.
The courthouse is split between JP1 and JP2, and the location of the JP would be on the wrong, of that courthouse would be on the wrong side for JP1.
Yeah.
So,
But her current office over there on the corner is in precinct 1.
should be all of the city of Burnet, should be precinct 2, except for however the line comes in to split this courthouse. Because after we went over 30,000, JPs had to be in the precinct in their own precincts, housed in their specific precincts. We did the same thing with the South Annex.
Okay, that's what I was wondering with JP.
Yeah, did the same thing with the South Annex.
Mr. Arredondo.
Gentlemen, first of all, I mean, I would definitely recommend you, if you're entertaining these things, to talk to those judges, but a potential thing that could be considered is the JP1 could be moved back into this building, into the spot where JP2 is, and JP2 could potentially move over across the street. But I say that as a suggestion. You definitely would need to talk to those judges. I would not want to put my thoughts in front of what they are think.
I can promise you that. I'm just gonna stay in the lower level suites and enjoy my space.
Okay. Let's get off of this and you want to table it to future meeting or?
You have to be specific.
I'm sorry?
We'd have to be specific.
You have to, yes, you would have to be specific to the next meeting or? Just not take action on it? Okay, that's better. All right. I call agenda item number 30, acknowledgement of receipt, Burnet County Auditor FY25 monthly financial report for May. MOU between the Texas Department of Public Safety and the State of Texas DPS and Burnet County Sheriff's Office, the allied agency. Burnet County June 2025 limited compliance inspection report and Marble Falls area EMS report. Is there any public comment? Okay. We acknowledge receipt. Just give a quick update on call agenda item number 4, County Judge's report, update on the following 100-day after the appointment. I just wanted to tell you, Commissioners, I'm honored to continue to serve as your Burnet County Judge. I have met the first 6 hours that are required by the statute provided by the Texas Association of Counties. My main focus has been on county finances. With the help of the interim auditor, we learned about the arbitrage system, and we've addressed that. Thank you for your support in that regard. We've worked really hard to understand how these bonds work and that we're using them appropriately and consistent. But the net result has been that we've been able to do the things that the Commissioners Court in past promised to do with these funds. We have a shared paving machine and rollers for the Commissioners to use. We provided another $1.2 million increase in funding for the Sheriff's Office this year, and we'll continue to monitor that. As far as public safety, I promised that I've worked with the Sheriff and others to review our public safety process, and I've worked hard to draw in the chiefs of police and the sheriff into a meeting where we identified specific items that we'll try to address as much as we can in the future budget meetings. But we're just going to need more resources for a growing population. I think the sheriff and all the other chiefs of police agreed with that one issue. I held a different meeting for all the fire and ambulance service providers in the area, and we learned that there's some major communication problems that we need to address. I learned during the tornado that it's incredible to have a good emergency management coordination response when it pulls all these resources together when it really matters. Last week I held the People in Crisis meeting that I promised you I'd do, and we identified that we have a real need to do a better job of providing transportation to our most vulnerable population, to provide additional resources where we can on mental health. The sheriff does a great job and has a great reputation, and those that work with him on that whole process. But we really need to work hard to keep the jail from becoming the de facto Burnet County psych ward, and we're going to keep working with those groups. I've met with MHMR yesterday, and we're going to keep swinging at that issue. Thank you for your support in reorganizing the county staff. They're able to get information on a regular basis about their budgets. I'm holding them accountable to meeting their requirements and duties, and then also to notify the Commissioners Court before anything happens where they run out of money or not meeting their obligations to the county. In conclusion, I've just begun making these commitments. I've done everything I said I was going to do, and I will continue to do my best to have sound governance, good management, and clear transparency for the county judge's office and the Commissioner's Court. So is there any public comment on this issue? Okay. I call for adjournment. Is there a motion?
So moved?
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
About to say that we haven't done it.
Okay, well,
Did we do?
sorry, it was way at the bottom, missed it on that page. Anything for calendar review?
I would just like to ask Commissioner Collier to put on the next agenda, peace officers carrying weapons on certain premises to discuss an apology to Chief Trevino.
Nothing on calendar?
Tonight's the Firefly.
Oh, yeah. Tonight, Firefly is having a community workshop where you can go and visit with them on a come-and-go basis at AgriLife. 5 to 7, I think. They've invited the public. They've asked you to RSVP, but you can go to the link. If anybody needs it, let me know. I got it somewhere.
All right. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.